In Hinduism, there's this concept of who you marry, who's born to you, and where you live is destiny. And you're meant to live in the place where you live. And we walked in here and we just knew. It's kind of like falling in love with somebody. And so I think we were destined to live here. This was destined to be our home. Actually, I walked in and I immediately declared to the realtor, this is it. And my husband's like looking at me with this panic look in his face, like, we need negotiating leverage. And I was like, too late, it's done. I'm Jain, founder and principal designer at Atelier Oleana, and this is my home in San Francisco. So when we first bought the house, it was dark, it had all this, ornateness to it. And I knew that it was gonna have to be more modern for me, but I love the original bones of it. All the wood carvings, the Cremoni bolts, the 100-year-old fireplace. So it was a very, I would say like a cosmetic renovation plus. But we kind of put these really contemporary elements next to those super old elements. Growing up in Delhi, you're very exposed to centuries old architecture. You have the Qutub Minar, the Red Fort, the Humayun's tomb. And then you also have those really new contemporary buildings, right? So you really get a love for the old and new mixed together. You don't feel like married to a certain era, and that's very reflective in my design. I love mixing eras, and that's what I love about my Eastern and Western sensibilities coming together. I love this house, but it definitely comes with its challenges, just like every other house. One of the things that is a big challenge is it's very compartmentalized. So we really leaned into each room having its own story, its own color palette and texture, and which was kind of fun actually, because we could just, design away. So here in our living room, we have this 100-year-old fireplace, and it's original to the house, which was built in the 1920s. There was a moment there when I thought about replacing it with a stone fireplace that was very contemporary, but then I knew I would never forgive myself if I did that because it's so historic. So this ended up staying and becoming the palette for the room. None of the books in our house are filler books. They all have a story, and we've sort of collected them over time. And the most special book in the house for me is my Matilda copy from when I was 8. One of the things my mom and I did together was read, and she would always tell me, underline the words you don't know the meaning of, and then we'll look them up in the dictionary together. Ghastly was one of my favorite words that I learned, and I remember looking it up in the dictionary with my mom, and she really regretted that because I always called everything ghastly for a few years. A great room has tension, it has texture, color, materiality, kind of all speaking to each other. It has a point of view. I think a lot of times folks are really afraid of using pattern and color because they want the space to feel really soothing and not have much going on, but I think that's a missed opportunity. You want a great room to have a point of view. You want to feel something when you walk in. You want to feel like you're in a different space. I feel like rooms should be immersive experiences. The dining room is actually one of my favorite spaces to design. When I was dating my husband, he and I mutually fell in love with the fact that we loved family dinner. It's something we hold really sacred, and I love the idea of designing a dining room for a family that's gonna have dinner together night after night. Also love a good dinner party. I always tell my clients lighting is my love language because it truly is. I love picking statement lighting. So in this house, we have all these beautiful contemporary pieces, and I wanted to find something that was a little bit more traditional, but not too much. And so I found this stunning silk lampshade for this pendant, and it kind of plays with the beige, the gold, and the black elements in the room. And I love the way it kind of browns all the green in this room as well. I think most homes have a lot going on. There's a lot of objectively cool pieces, but they together look too much. I think we can all benefit from editing our homes. We can benefit from the virtue of restraint and just cut things down, like less is more. Focus on a piece that really defines the room, and focus on a color or a wallpaper or a lighting piece or fixture, and let that sort of make the space and edit around it. I think that's probably my biggest piece of advice. So I had a perfectly fine kitchen. We just renovated 2 years ago. And then I actually designed another project's primary bedroom and bathroom in this stone and just fell in love. And so here we are in my new kitchen with my new stone. I love everything about this stone. It's called a Viola Oro, and it has these really strong veining moments. And it also has this sort of negative space and this rosa in it. It's kind of like a beige gold rose. And it just has so much movement. It just makes me feel like I'm in a very grounded, earthy environment. I think for me, it's like I just need to fall in love with something and then I design based on that. Designing for myself is not at all as structured and polished and prepared as I would with clients. You know, with clients, you obviously put together a mood board, a vision, a story, and you come up with all the elements and present it to them. With myself, it's like me falling in love with the chandelier, or falling in love with the color, or falling in love with the fabric. So this is the Schumacher Woodland Leopard fabric, and it's one of my favorite fabrics of all time. I fell in love with it and I wanted to design the bedroom around it. So I upholstered an old sofa in this fabric, and I took inspiration for the color palette from the blue velvet and the taupe and gold sand beige detailing of the leopard. So when I was painting the room blue, I knew I wanted to use a technique called color drenching. Color drenching is when you paint the walls, the ceiling, the trim, the molding the same color. And what I love about it is it makes the space feel really expansive. And if you see over here in this room, the walls and the ceiling are the same color, but they look different. It adds a lot of interest and drama, and I really love it. One of my clients from Hong Kong taught me about Feng Shui, and one of the principles of Feng Shui is that you don't have mirrors in the bedroom, or you're not supposed to be looking at a mirror when you're sleeping. I had these closets covered in mirrors, and so I was trying to figure out like what is a good way to fix that. And so we brought this beautiful linen textured wall covering to the closet fronts, and it totally changed the vibe. It looks absolutely stunning and works beautifully with the sand beige colors of the leopard velvet. It just ended up becoming a moment. If I could speak to this home, I would just say thank you for being ours. And this house feels like a fifth family member to us. It's really lived through our stories with us. It's truly a family member. This house has a lot of meaning to us, and it's always gonna be our first home. In many ways, I feel like I'm a steward to the house and the house is a steward to me. I think whatever I've given to the house, I've gotten 10x back.